Are you constantly battling thoughts you wish you didn't have? Do you feel trapped by urges that steal your focus, your peace, and your purpose? This isn't just a habit, it could be a spiritual stronghold. In this video, we're exposing 5 clear signs that a demon of lust may be controlling your life, and more importantly, how to break free from it for good. This isn't about judgment, it's about truth, healing, and freedom. If you've been silently struggling, this might be the message that sets you free. Stay with me till the end. Your breakthrough starts right now. 1. Persistent sexual thoughts that distract you from your purpose. One of the clearest and most overlooked signs of a spirit of lust is the presence of frequent intrusive sexual thoughts that appear at the worst possible times, when you're trying to focus on your goals, when you're praying, when you're working, or even when you're simply trying to rest. These thoughts are not just random, they are strategic. They are designed to pull you away from your purpose, your potential, and your peace. You may start your day with the intention to be productive, to study, to work on your business, or to grow spiritually. But suddenly, without any external trigger, your mind gets ambushed by a flood of lustful images or desires. You didn't choose them, yet they feel overpowering. That's because lust doesn't just live in your mind, it tries to take over your mind. This is not about natural attraction or occasional temptation. We're talking about a recurring mental invasion that feels like it's controlling you, not the other way around. If you're constantly wrestling with these thoughts and feel like you can't shut them off even when you desperately want to, it's a sign you're not just dealing with a habit, you might be facing a spiritual bondage. The true cost of these persistent thoughts is much deeper than just mental discomfort. Lust is a purpose thief. It doesn't just want your attention for a few minutes, it wants your entire future. Every moment spent battling unwanted thoughts is a moment lost that could have been spent building your vision, improving your life, or connecting with God on a deeper level. And here's the truth that most people won't tell you. These thoughts don't just go away with willpower alone. They require spiritual warfare, intentional mindset renewal, and a complete shift in what you allow into your mind daily. What are you watching? Who are you following on social media? What conversations are you entertaining? Everything you consume is either feeding your freedom or feeding your bondage. You were created for something far greater than being stuck in a cycle of guilt, shame, and distraction. You were made to lead, to build, to inspire, to serve, not to be enslaved by temporary pleasure. The first step to breaking free is to recognize that these thoughts are not normal. They are not harmless. They are strategic attacks to keep you from becoming everything you're called to be. The good news? Freedom is possible. You don't have to stay stuck. When you begin to starve what feeds lust and start feeding your spirit with truth, discipline, and purpose, you'll see transformation. And every step you take toward mental and spiritual clarity is a step back into alignment with your destiny. 2. Addiction to pornography or sexual content. One of the strongest signs that the spirit of lust is working against you is a deep-rooted addiction to pornography or explicit content. It starts small, out of curiosity, boredom, or loneliness. But over time it becomes a pattern you can't seem to break. You tell yourself this is the last time, but the cycle repeats. That's when it stops being a habit and starts becoming bondage. Pornography is not just a digital escape, it's a mental prison. Every time you watch it, you're training your brain to seek instant pleasure over long-term purpose. What seems harmless on the surface is actually rewiring your desires, weakening your willpower, and damaging your ability to connect with others in a pure, meaningful way. And here's the truth, porn doesn't satisfy. It always demands more. What satisfied you last week won't be enough today. That's the trap. It pulls you deeper, lowering your standards and stealing your sensitivity. You stop seeing people as souls and start viewing them as objects. That's not just a moral issue, it's a spiritual attack. The worst part, after the pleasure fades, shame hits. You feel guilty, empty, even disgusted with yourself. That emotional crash is not random. It's the spiritual consequence of giving in to something that was never designed to fulfill you in the first place. Lust promises freedom, but delivers chains. It offers pleasure, but leaves you with pain. And yet you're not alone. Millions silently suffer with this addiction, feeling trapped and hopeless. But it's important to know you're not weak. You're under attack. This isn't just about self-discipline, it's about breaking a deeper spiritual hold. That's why willpower alone often fails. You need more than motivation, you need transformation. Every time you choose pornography over purpose, you're not just wasting time, you're weakening your spiritual authority. Lust wants to silence your calling, blur your clarity, and delay your destiny. But you were not created to be ruled by addiction. You were created to walk in freedom, purity, and power. The first step to breaking free is acknowledgement, recognizing that this addiction is not normal, and it's not harmless. The second step is exposure, bringing it into the light, whether that's talking to a mentor, setting up accountability, or detoxing from triggering environment. And the third step is renewal, feeding your mind daily with truth, building new habits, and filling your life with purpose, so strong that lust has no room to live. You are not beyond redemption. You are not too far gone. Even if you failed 100 times, freedom is still available. The battle may be intense, but the reward is priceless. Mental peace, emotional strength, spiritual clarity, and a future that's no longer delayed by secret chains. You were made for more, and the moment you decide to fight back, everything begins to change. Using people for pleasure, not love. A powerful sign that lust is operating in your life is when your relationships are built more on physical desire than on emotional connection or genuine love. This is when people stop being seen as human beings, with stories, emotions, and souls, and start being seen as means to satisfy your pleasure. Lust reduces people to objects. It removes honor, value, and purpose from the way we treat others. This shift often begins subtly. You may start building connections based primarily on attraction, fantasy, or what someone can give you physically. Over time, you begin prioritizing temporary pleasure over lasting intimacy. You might even convince yourself that it's love, but deep down you know that if the physical part disappeared, the relationship would too. True love honors, protects, and uplifts. Lust, on the other hand, uses. It takes without giving. It desires without caring. It wants satisfaction, not connection. When lust controls your view of people, you no longer seek to know someone deeply. You seek to gain something quickly. This mindset not only damages others, but it also damages you, because it trains your heart to chase fulfillment in all the wrong places. One of the dangers of using people for pleasure is that it creates a false sense of intimacy. It tricks you into thinking you're close to someone, when in reality you're just attached to how they make you feel. And when those feelings fade, as they always do, you're left searching for the next fix, the next person, the next thrill. It becomes a cycle of taking, detaching, and repeating. This lifestyle might seem exciting at first, but it leads to emotional emptiness. You start feeling disconnected, numb, and restless. Even when surrounded by people, you feel lonely. Why? Because you were created for real connection, not surface-level satisfaction. You were designed for love that's rooted in respect, truth, and commitment, not in temporary moments of pleasure that leave you feeling used and unfulfilled. But here's what's important. Recognizing this pattern is not a reason to feel ashamed. It's a chance to shift. It's a wake-up call. The fact that you're becoming aware of how lust affects your relationships means you're growing. It means your heart still wants truth, still longs for depth, still believes in love. The solution isn't to shut people out, it's to see them right and start honoring people for who they are, not what they can offer you. Build connections based on shared values, vision, and respect. When you operate from love, not lust, you attract the kind of relationships that bring peace, joy, and growth into your life. Remember, you are not a user, you are a builder. You're not called to take, you're called to give, to uplift, to lead with love. Break free from the mindset of lust and step into relationships that actually matter. You feel shame after giving in. One of the clearest signs that lust is not just a desire but a spiritual battle is the feeling that comes after. At first, lust promises excitement. It feels thrilling, urgent, and hard to resist. But once you give in, once the moment passes, you're left with something deeper: shame, guilt, and emotional emptiness. This cycle is not random. It's a clear spiritual indicator that what you're dealing with isn't love, it's a counterfeit. True love always leaves you with peace. Real connection brings wholeness, warmth, and clarity. But when lust takes over, it creates a high followed by a deep crash. That internal crash, the feeling of being distant from yourself, from God, or from your values, is the fruit of something toxic, not true. You might find yourself saying things like, "I hate that I did this again. Why do I feel so empty? I knew better, so why did I still give in?" These thoughts are not just regret, they're evidence of your inner spirit resisting the bondage. That shame you feel isn't there to destroy you. It's actually proof that your heart is still alive, still aware, still longing for something real. It means your soul hasn't surrendered to the darkness. It still desires light. But here's what the enemy wants. He wants you to stay in that shame. Because shame isolates. It convinces you that you're dirty, unworthy, broken, and too far gone. And once you believe that, it becomes even easier to fall again. That's the trap. Lust leads to sin, sin leads to shame, and shame leads to silence. Then the cycle repeats. But you need to know this. Feeling shame doesn't mean you're lost. It means you need healing. It means your spirit is crying out for freedom, not more pleasure. And that freedom starts by recognizing that what you're fighting isn't just a personal weakness. It's a spiritual attack designed to keep you from walking in confidence, clarity, and purpose. The truth is, you are not alone, and you are not weak. Many people secretly battle with this, carrying guilt they never talk about. But healing begins when you bring shame into the light. Speak about it, seek accountability, remove the triggers, fill your mind and soul with content that builds you up, not tears you down. Most importantly, remind yourself, you are not defined by your lowest moments. You are not the shame you feel. You are not the mistake you made. You are a work in progress, and even when you fall, God still sees your potential, your purpose, and your future. Don't let shame keep you bound. Let it wake you up. Use it as a signal, not of failure, but of the calling to rise. You were never meant to live in cycles of guilt. You were meant to live in strength, purity, and peace. And that freedom, it starts the moment you stop running from the shame and start walking into the light. 5. You keep falling despite promising yourself you'll stop. You've probably been here before. After giving in, you feel regret, shame, and a burning desire to stop. You make a firm decision. This is the last time. You pray, promise, maybe even cry. But then days or even hours later, you're back in the same place, battling the same temptation, and once again you fall. This repeating pattern is not just a sign of weakness or a lack of discipline. It's a sign of something deeper, a spiritual battle. When you genuinely want to stop but still find yourself pulled back into the same cycle, it reveals that you're dealing with more than just a habit. You're facing a stronghold, a deeply rooted spiritual bondage that tries to override your logic, emotions, and even your faith. This is how the cycle works. Temptation creeps in. You fight it, you give in, you feel shame, you promise to change. Then the temptation returns. And it repeats again and again. Now here's the truth. Repetition does not mean failure. It means the battle is ongoing and you're still fighting, even if you fall. The very fact that you feel bad, that you want to change, is powerful. It means your heart is still awake. You still desire purity, purpose, and freedom. That's a strength, not a weakness. But here's what's most important to understand. You can't break a spiritual stronghold with willpower alone. Lust is not just about the body. It attacks your mind, your soul, and your future. That's why your promises alone won't be enough. You need a new kind of fight, a spiritual strategy. Start by recognizing this. You are not alone. Countless people, even strong leaders, battle with this in silence. But the breakthrough starts when you stop hiding the fight and start bringing it into the light. Lust thrives in secrecy, but it loses power when you confront it with truth. The solution is not to beat yourself up. It's to equip yourself. Build habits that protect your mind. Surround yourself with accountability. Fill your environment with truth, not temptation. Spend time with God daily, not just asking for help, but also feeding your spirit with strength. Replace every lie with truth. Every time you rise again after falling, you get stronger. Every time you say no, even once, you weaken the grip of the enemy. You are not what you did. You are who you are becoming. And remember this. God's grace is greater than your struggle. He's not disappointed in you. He's fighting for you. He sees your desire to be free, and he's ready to help you break the cycle for good. So don't give up. You're not too far gone. You're not stuck. You're in progress, and every step forward matters. Victory starts the moment you realize you were never meant to fight this alone.